Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome. Namaste. Hi, Dee Dee. I'm excited for this one as well, too. So, welcome to my channel. I want to share with you a oracle decks that remain and of my knowledge. All of these decks are still available and they are in print. And once I am done here, I will edit the description box below so I make sure that you have links for all of these decks. I didn't get a chance to do that in advance because I was trying to figure out what I was going to share with you. And I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 14. So there are four 10 plus. That's why I said 10 plus in the description. So if you're new, I'm Sadhana. I'm an intuitive reader and healer, and just love to talk about decks and tarot. And I teach a lot of classes, and I have a lot of offerings. So be sure to check out the description box below if what I have to say resonates with you. And welcome again. Hello, Sharon. Nice to have you here. Hopefully the lighting will cooperate and we can get going right away. Now, I'm sharing with you some very special decks and some that are, I want to say, more versatile and some that have very specific uses. And I will speak to all of that when I get to the decks. But there's some that I just couldn't not share with you because they are so very, very special. Hello, Donna, Mimi, Michelle. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, so let's get to the cards because that is why you are here. And hopefully the lighting will cooperate. This deck is one that also comes with an amazing little journal. And it is called a deck for wonder walking. And this is a beautiful, the first two decks I'm sharing with you have the most amazing boxes. And I don't usually linger over boxes, but this is just really extraordinary. This is one of these clamshell boxes that opens up and there's all these interesting things inside it. It's just a really fine, I'm going to have to move the candle because I can't put it over here. Just an exquisite production. The journal is also of beautiful quality. And this deck for Wonder Walking, it is so gorgeous. I mean, I have taken cards out for and put them in plastic sleeves to work with out in nature. But I think that's one of the intentions of the deck. I did a video at the request of the creator. She did a Kickstarter for, and I'll tell you her name because I know I'm going to get it wrong. Hopefully it's on the box. I apologize. Her name's not on the box. Isn't that interesting? And as soon as you say her, if it is, I have very dim light here, and it is. Her name is on the box here. Yes, I knew that. It's Amy Wan. So at Amy's request, I did a video a while back when she did a Kickstarter for a new publication of the journal. And so you can search on my channel for that. And I share with you the journal and different ways to work with this particular deck. The keywords that are on the cards are truly magical, very special. It's just a really special deck. This is one of the cards I often feature in pictures. This is an art deck. I love watercolor decks. I love getting lost in the drips of the paints and everything like that. And I would strongly recommend going back and watching that video, and I will try to remember to link it here as well too, so you can click on it right away. A deck for wonder walking could be used in conjunction with any sort of inward work, creative work. If you need a muse for a creative project, this is really something. Yeah. And it's funny, I did just this morning or noon today Pacific, I did a video, 10 mass market oracles, and there's one oracle I have forgotten to mention and include in either category. And I'm just going to say it now while it's on the tip of my tongue. And as soon as I said a muse, looking for a muse for your work, and that is Chris Ann's Oracle. Now, the copy that I have was indie, but it is now available as a mass market deck. That is another deck that I work with in conjunction with this particular deck when I'm looking for inspiration. And I know that is, there's Chris Ann also has an oracle deck, sorry, a tarot deck called the Muse Tarot, and I think it kind of all fits together with that one as well too. But the Muse Tarot is a little wild and crazy for me. Yes, sacred. That's right, Sacred Creators Oracle. Thank you very much for that, Dee Dee. And so when you are early on in development of a project, I find these two oracles work really well together. Okay. The guidebook, and I have never done a side by side of the guidebook of Sacred Creators in versus Sacred Creators um, Mass Market. There's another thing about this deck as well too, is that there are groups of cards. There are little chapters, scenes within the deck, and I do explain this in the other video as well too. So it's not just a collection of paintings. There is a strategy and there is a way in here. And the way that Amy describes it is, if you're also interested in labyrinth work, she she uses the sections of the labyrinth as a metaphor in working with this beautiful deck. So I had to mention it. It's very different than anything else that I have in my collection. Um, yeah, very, very special. And all of these initial decks I'm sharing with you are very different. Hello, Janine. I can see why Lisa would compare the Kantaji Oracle to a deck for Wonder Walking. Now, first of all, very different price point. One is mass market and one is an indie deck. But yes, I could see that. I could see that. Um, Both of them are very thorough in their thoughtfulness of the cards and the connection of the artwork to the cards. Because you have to purchase the journal separately from the deck, it's quite an expensive investment. So I would definitely take some time to look at the videos of the journal for sure. Another thing that I find with the Kantaji, there's not a lot of the paintings that are intense. And I'm still very early in my journey with the Kantaji Oracle, and you don't can't get colored pictures there. Um, but sorry, I was not planning on doing this. This is just indie decks. So this is a deck I included in the last video. It is a mass market oracle deck called the Kantaji Oracle. There is much more white space in this deck, and the phrase on the bottom, while they are very creative, it requires a little bit less intuition because there are more words on the page. Um, for the most part, the amount of color and paint on the cards is quite different. There's quite a bit more white space on this deck. So one thing I could do if you're interested is to do a specific comparison of these two decks, but I can certainly see why Lisa would compare these decks. Yes, I understand that completely. Okay, so that's on my list of things to do. I said boxes, incredible boxes. This, I hope somewhere in the publishing world, this box won a prize. This is the most creative box I have ever seen in my life. This is the Threadbound Oracle by Cedar McLeod, formerly known as Noah Rempel. And they have created an oracle box that looks like a book. And it is so beautiful. The Threadbound Oracle follows the story, follows a book. You do not have to have read the book to use the oracle. It has chapters as well too that are, I want to say, the suits. The suits are divided into themes that go along with bookmaking, book binding process, and it's a very creative. Um, it's just so creative. I have never used this with their um, Numinous Tarot. I use this deck with black and white decks. I use it on its own. I use it also as a bit of a muse to inspire story because that's what this deck is about. It's about storytelling. And it looks like it's a tarot deck from at first glance. This is the Six of Threads. So that the suits are numbered in this deck. Five of paper. And I put one of my favorite cards in the thumbnail. That's the one on the train. There's just really beautiful metaphors here. The library card is absolutely outstanding. There is a complimentary PDF that goes with the deck. Um, it is on, this is one of my favorite cards. This is called The Train. The key phrases are transition, travel, and liminal space. And if you're familiar with the Numinous Tarot, we have, so this is a queer artist, and so this is a very inclusive deck. Um, I want to say lots of non-binary. Um, so gender is not an issue in this deck. It's a very, very, very inclusive. It's incredibly creative. Love the paper as well too. Hi, Tamian. Welcome to, if I've missed anybody else coming in. Hi, Stephanie. So this is one that is also, I want to say something about Cedar. I am so grateful to Cedar for the education that I have received through working with this particular deck. They, it's like Queer for Dummies, the way the first couple of paragraphs read in the PDF. It's so wonderful to be educated. I have and have always had queer friends um, ever since I was in high school, but I'm not close to a queer community at this time. And so when I was reading their PDF, it was wonderful to kind of catch up on current lingo and terms and because I feel a bit out of touch, and I just really, really appreciated that. Um, their Instagram page is also amazing. Love the art. Okay. Excuse me. Completely different direction. This is another out there oracle that I don't think is to be missed. And I spent a long time with this deck on my Facebook, in my Facebook group. So in my Facebook group on Wednesday evenings, I do a bit of a chat and a reading, and ever since the group opened, I've been using, I believe, an Oracle deck as inspiration for our Wednesday night chats. And this is a very clever deck that uses the elements of the periodic table as a metaphor for life. And the more that I dive into my Thoth Inspired series, which is a series that I'm running on Tuesdays, it's a members feature, the more fascinated I become with this alchemical world. And it makes me want to go back to this deck and to revisit it and perhaps even use it with in conjunction with readings in the Thoth Tarot or the Hermetic Tarot or other alchemical tarots. The oracular messages that accompany the elements are so brilliant. And to tell you the honest truth, illustrations are so powerful. You really don't need to know anything about the element or there's a lot of Greek mythology here. So this would also work beautifully with a Greek mythology kind of tarot deck. The Mythic Tarot is one that I don't have. That's one that I will be bringing into my library for sure. The original version, not the newer one, I believe. Um, yeah, so this is kind of a magical deck. Now, the other thing it did was it sent me down a rabbit hole with each of the elements. And so the education process was quite something, the way that I was learning what the element is used for, the qualities of the element, the abundance of it on the planet. Um, just, yeah, so again, this is a deck that I would do a single draw in conjunction with, I want to say a tarot, quite a serious tarot deck. You know, this is very on one, I was going to say it's very left brain. On one hand, it's very left brain, but on the other hand, it gets you thinking about alchemical processes and away from the chemistry of it and into the mystery and the magic of it, which is so very cool. And the whole idea of um, the possibility of alternate changing elements, changing form. And we can look at that, of course, as a metaphor for our own bits and pieces as well too. So I think this is a very special deck. It's published by Usi. Um, it's the same Usi cardstock that all of their decks are on. A little bit slippery, but lovely for riffle shuffling if you like to riffle shuffle like I do. Okay. Hmm. This one, this is a favorite. This is the large version, which I don't believe is a longer, it is not available any longer. This is Earthly Souls and Spirits by Terry Foss. Her daughter is somehow involved in this project as well too. And this now comes in a tarot size, which is much easier to manage. But I love these enormous cards. It is magical. It is very magical and it's full of hope and light. This is called Earthly Souls and Spirits. And I feel kind of peaceful here in this world. It's the kind of deck that when I'm feeling a little too 3D, a little too frustrated in this third dimension, this is the kind of deck that I want to turn to. Look at that. Beautiful. And I just want to show you how big these cards are. If you ever come across a used copy of this extra large version, I would strongly recommend in investing in it. The tarot size version is lovely, But as you know, when artwork jumps off the page like this, it's so nice to have, um are you kidding me? Ah, okay, so it's not on make playing cards anymore. Well, there we go. So this now is a mass market deck. Aren't you lovely? Aren't you lovely for sharing that? Okay. So now that so this doesn't even fit in this category. Well, the 2 versions that I have were self-published. Yeah, I really this makes me feel very, very peaceful. And the humans in this card, I believe, are for the most part white and thin, and I know that is an issue in some cases for people. Um, there's lots of silhouette, but there's something about the peacefulness of this. And I want to say that it's not unlike, so I think that's another reason why I go to Oracle. I'm looking for peaceful connection. And you can see, the kind of vibe. This is going back to a deck for wonder walking. Um, it really helps me to calm down. And I think these kinds of cards are great for sharing. If you're doing a workshop where people need peace and quiet and calm from the busyness of the day, this kind of the vibe that I get out of these cards. So, Earthly Souls and Spirits by Terry Foss. Well, I will make sure to put in the mass market link for you a little bit later on. All right. Oh, that's great. Thank you for sharing that, Janine. And thank you for the sub, Mimi. Okay, here's another very large deck. I'm sure you're all familiar with this, and I think we're getting into the top. We're well into the top 10 now. Now, this is not a deck for everybody. The Weaver's Oracle, created by Carolyn Hillier, is a life work. The paintings that you see in this deck were created over a period of many, many years. And most of these, like you can see this here, this would have been a life size painting over 6 feet long. And the other really cool thing about this deck is that the skirts, the pots, the knives, all of the physical pieces that you see, the weavings, etc., were actually created as part of the project. So not only were these cards painted, but they have a three-dimensional energetic quality to the objects in the pictures as well too. This is another deck that is, I work with only one card at a time, one or maximum two weavers a year working with the theme. They do all of the weavers have, isn't she stunning? All of the weavers belong to have a direction which points you and perhaps ancestrally to a place on the planet. Um, and they also have a tribe. There are stories from the weaver. There are lessons from the tools that are figured, and it is written in the most beautiful poetry. There's also a preamble in the beginning of the guidebook. The guidebook does come with the deck. You order it through the UK, and in the guidebook, Carolyn says that while all of these cards have feminine energy, this is not just a deck for women. This is very much a deck about connecting to, and I want to say primarily healing feminine ancestral wounds. Um, and if we can continue to wrap our heads around the divine feminine within all, then we can understand how this is not just a deck for women, and the wisdom Oh my god, the wisdom in this deck is absolutely amazing, and I smile because some of these weavers I have met many times, and, um, I really do, I love this deck. But little bit by it's one of those bit by bit decks, you know, it's not something where you're gonna, do a Celtic cross of weavers. There's so much to digest, in the description. So first of all, part of the project with this deck is to, read, I wanna say the first 20 pages, 20, 30 pages of the guidebook to get to know its structure, because there is a lot of, energy within that you need to know about each tribe and then about each direction, and then you go into the specific energy of each of the cards, and it's just a masterpiece. Mhm. As I feel in their own way, each of the decks that I've already shown you are. These are in no particular order. They all kind of have do their own thing, um, but just amazing, beautiful, beautiful decks. Along with the Weaver's Oracle, this is another one that I use in conjunction with ancestor work and past lives work. And this is the Divine Muses Oracle by Marie Bento that also comes with an amazing guidebook. Marie has very thorough um, and thought-provoking descriptions in this guidebook. I want it's excellent. Fantastic. It's not a guidebook you would I don't think Oracle guidebooks, like some tarot guidebooks, you could use as a generic guidebook, but this is not a guidebook to be missed. It's really, really something. Mhm. And I wish, I don't have very many decks on my wish list, but one is the Lua Tarot by the same creator. I missed the boat on that one. And one of the beautiful things about this oracle is that there are so many cultures and traditions that are represented all over the planet, um, all kinds of walks of life. Andrew, Well-Tempered Claire, we were talking about decks for past life readings. I think I did a video a couple of Fridays ago about past life readings. And he, among and a couple of other people, keep asking me about the Ancestral Path Tarot. Now, I do not want to knock the work of Julia Kuchia Watts, but the thing I don't like about that deck is the limited number of um, genres. You know, the limited number of cultures that are represented. So there's 4 suits, and so there's 4 time periods and 4 places on the planet. It's a beautiful deck. It's also larger cards, but I think this one is really special. Divine Muses by Marie Bento with an equally amazing guidebook. Mhm. All right, how are we doing? I see we have some deck lusty comments in the chat. I'm just going to take a sip and then I will resume. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so we have 8. I'm going to go to this one because I feel like the top 7 are very multi-purpose, and this one maybe not so much, but this is another amazing, amazing oracle. And I believe it was the lovely Artists and Oracles Donna that made me do it. Actually, I think she sent it to me, or we were. How did it work, Donna? Anyway, this is the Toolku Toolku Oracle. And I did use this deck on my tarot card of the year readings. This is another oracle that uh, has suits of a kind, and is very thoughtfully put together. The creator, I have interviewed. So there's an interview on my channel with Carla, and these paintings are based on amulets. So Carla Rafaxo is a jewelry designer. I actually have one of her amulets. I'll see if I can find the card. That as well as the mala. So this is the Vesica Pisces amulet in silver, and I purchased the mala as well too from her website. And I asked Carla if she could match an amulet to my energy, and I forget which one she suggested, but it didn't. Remember I was talking about jaguars earlier today? Another amazing jaguar card. And thank you for that too, Donna. Now, this is bizarre. I have never paired this deck with the Tildwick Tarot. And the genre is completely night and day, but there's something that might look truly amazing here. There's nothing I don't like about this deck. There are animal guides, there are mantra cards, there are chakra cards. The collage work is absolutely stunning, and there's a lot to see. And yes, this is another great guidebook. There is no shortage of information. If you're not familiar with the deity, if you're not familiar with the mantra, Carla does a great job in its interpretation. And while I may have different knowledge or different interpretations, I really appreciate what she shares in the book. And I believe that I have spoken to some of the cards already in other videos that I would interpret differently, but that's no different than any oracle deck. I always go to the cards first before I go to the little white book. And in this case, it's not, this is one that I do have on the table. It's not a little white book. It's a large, large book. So this is, if you are looking at Indian, Tibetan, so this is Tibetan, mostly Tibetan energy, gods and goddesses. This is a great resource. And beyond that, very healing. Mhm. Okay, so that is the Toolku Oracle by Carla Rafaxo. Yeah, and when I'm done, I will put these all down below. And more amazing cardstock. And Donna, did these come edged or did I edge these? I can't remember. They may be edged in this bronze color, but I can't remember. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go to the Oracle deck that mm, um, the Oracle deck probably that is most often in my basket. So I do a lot of traveling for readings, and this Oracle deck, this is Roots and Wings, is one that I never hesitate to throw in my bag. I find this to be so incredibly versatile. It pairs beautifully with numerous tarot decks, gives beautiful readings. Um, mhm. And I don't think I have a guidebook for this. It's the keywords match the artwork. Uh, there's been lots of times where I've picked up on something in the card that is connected to a symbol in the tarot that has nothing to do, and actually, let me address that. That has nothing to do with the keyword on the card. My process in reading oracle cards, is to always read the card before I get to the little white book. I've already said that. But beyond that, another part of my process is to not actually read the key word, because I find that from time to time, um, I may be able to read something in the art beyond what is described in the language. And it may be confusing for querents when I'm talking about a card and not addressing the language that's on the card. But if that is the case, I will mention that. Love this card so much. Yeah. So this is Roots and Wings, and it is available on Etsy. And again, I will send you that link shortly. All right. This is, I believe, the creator makes bags herself, and I'm not sure what the bags look like now, but these are great little bags. I'm pretty sure I ordered that with the deck. Much prefer these bags to um, these ones. This is the one that came with, or I ordered with Divine Muses Oracle. Mm. Okay, ready? Let's go to Illuminated Earth. I do not have the faceted garden to compare, but this is another one that I feel, yeah, the thing about Roots and Wings is the white space. It goes very well with lots and lots of decks. This one, much like the Wonder Walking deck, is full of paint on the whole card. But because the paintings are not, um, they're so open-ended, the paintings. And I often find new things in the cards. And I have many uh, watercolor oracle decks, sorry, watercolor tarot decks as well too. And this deck just pairs really brilliantly with, I use it with some of those. Love, love the color palette and the possibilities, right? It's full of possibilities. And again, I would really encourage you to look deeply into the artwork, to blur your focus and not read the word until you have drunk in the art. And then you can read the word. And if it doesn't resonate, let it go. Um, because it's really important, I feel, especially in working with oracles, that you allow your energy body to pick up on the work, on the artwork. Welcome to Tarot Geek. So yeah, so this is the Illuminated Earth Oracle. Hmm. Kind of beautiful. Okay. All right. I contemplated purchasing The Faceted Garden by the same creator. However, I have a lot of Oracle decks, and I'm just trying to be more discriminating in the decks that I purchase. Okay, where are we going to go to next? Um, hmm. Okay, we're going to go to Australia, and I'm not sure if this deck is still in print, so I apologize if it's not. Mhm. And just so everybody knows, this is Dana. Dana. All right. Um, this next deck is the Connected and Free Alchemist Oracle, and I believe it's available mass market in French, but I didn't take the time to check that out. So, and I don't know about um, shifts in the deck. I should have researched that. It may be. Let me know if you have it or where you got it from. If you have it. The artwork is by Tegan Sweeney, and the deck is by Lauren Aletta. And I have to say that in contrast with the tarot deck, which is called the Lumina Tarot, this deck is um, it's my favorite. It's it's so good. This oracle is amazing. Um, yeah, I this is another one that I would never hesitate to use. And there are a couple of cards that I found initially challenging to interpret, um, but I've come to find my way with this deck. It's really, really stunning. All right. Um, so Donna says that the French source is arcanasacra.com. They have other hard to get in US decks. Ah, okay. Thank you for that, Donna. I'm surprised it hasn't been picked up, mass market. It's extraordinary. And while there are many things that people don't like about the tarot deck, there is nothing. I've never heard a bad thing about this deck. This is just striking, striking, striking. Love it. It's so good. If you can't get CNF, The Untamed Truth is a close second. Ah, okay. Good to know. Untamed Truth. I don't have a pen here. Stephanie, what's bad about the tarot? The criticism of the tarot is that it's not diverse. It's all white, primarily, very youthful, and everybody is uber thin. Those are the primary criticisms. I mean, there's a few different ages of kings and so forth, but that's a comment. Mhm. Look at this card. I mean, this is just, it's just so beautiful. So beautiful. So this is Connected and Free, the Alchemist's Oracle. Forever a favorite. And I think it's always going to be in a top 5 oracle for me, without a doubt. Okay, that one's done. So now we have 4 left. And I've never seen it. That's probably why. Okay. Stephanie, you're talking about the tarot. Yeah. All right. Now, this is first edition of Anatorian's Oracle of Echoes. It does come in a tuck box. This is a hard box that was made, I had made. It is tarot size. I believe the new version looks slightly different, and there are, so instead of borders, the newer version of the deck has the keyword on the artwork. And like I said, there's a few new cards. This is in terms, this comment is for the Lumina Tarot. And yes, I really do like the Lumina Tarot. I love the sacred geometry. Um, there's a couple of court cards that are absolutely amazing, as well as some of the other cards. I think in the Lumina Tarot, it is my all-time favorite Six of Swords. Yeah. Hmm. I will be doing tomorrow top 10 indie tarot if you're interested. And if that deck doesn't make the cut, I will show you that card. Hmm. Now, why is this such a good deck? This is a very provoking deck. There are a number of very challenging cards. This is not a deck that I would use on a first reading with a client. Um, while there's some really warming cards, there are also an equal number of uh, personally challenging cards, and so not very gentle. So I would err on the side of caution in a first session with someone and using these cards, unless you know them well for another from another reason. And this is one of the brilliant things about the deck is that it's not too saccharine, and it's really important to me to have oracle cards that are going to cut to the chase. And I think Donna's comment is Oracle of Echoes has been wowing me lately with its laser accuracy and beauty. And it's not going to beat around the bush. It's going to tell you like it is. And there are some cards in this deck that have touched me so powerfully. Uh, Anna is a gifted artist, and this is this really is an extraordinary body of work. Mhm. I do have an extra copy of the first edition. That's how much I liked it. I got it right after I got this. Sorry about that. I'm back. I'm back. Okay. Right, so this is Oracle of Echoes by Anna Maria. Also, along with Free the Alchemy top 5 oracles. It would be very to displace those 2 decks. Yeah, just amazing. Okay. And these top 5 aren't in an order from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mm. Yes, and Anna is in the process of creating a tarot of echoes. And yes, looking forward to that. This lovely oracle with the metallic purple edges is also quite extraordinary. If you've been following me, you've heard stories about a reading that I had some time back from, uh, it was a, what was it called? A karmic life reading, where I was told to be told that the bees would be an important part of my journey and to always be listening to the bees. And when this deck came out, the tarot first, I believe, I knew that without a question, I needed to have it. Um, and I love both the tarot and the oracle. The oracle is a standalone deck. It does not need to go with the tarot deck. The keywords are amazing. And again, we have suits. So like the Toolku, we have suits. This is in the suit of air. So we have 5 suits in this deck. And you can read it without knowing the suits. Um, it's a highly intuitive deck. Mm. Oh, you have these now too, Dana? Yeah, they're really beautiful. I did pre-order Keeper of the Sacred Beast. I will let you know what I think about that deck as well too. So it's interesting. I I like decks with white space. And as you can see, many of the decks that I'm showing you today have no white space, fully, no borders, fully saturated color. Mm. And so if I'm working with an Oracle deck that has no borders and fully saturated color, and I'm choosing a tarot deck, I'm probably going to choose a black and white tarot deck. I'm going to choose something that has a good solid black border, something that will help separate the energies so they don't all kind of flow together. I have used the tarot and the oracle of the bees together, but it's almost too much. Yeah, there's another. I love eyes. So the color is just, it's just beautiful. It just has a feeling, right? It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous feeling. Mhm. All right. 2 more. 2 more. Like I said, no particular order. This beautiful soul, I also did an interview with, and her name's Rebecca Lefebvre. And Rebecca is the creator of 3 oracles that come in a couple of different versions. And this is a lift off box. And I've heard that the paper has changed. I'm not really sure what's shifted with the cards, but this original version has a uncoated, like a watercolor paper. And this is by far my favorite paper of any deck that I have. I don't have any other decks other than hers that are this raw, rough. It's just, it's just perfect paper. Mm. I have, oh, what just happened? I have shared all of her decks, and I do have a video on each of her oracles as well as the interview. And I did share the junior decks as well too. So I have the junior decks and I have um, what's the other version? Oh, minis. She has minis as well too. This deck called Fantastic Being gives us a piece, a partial view of a fantastic being. So we don't see the whole creature, which is really cool. Um, and like all of her decks, each card has an element that is associated with it. Sometimes I shift that up, don't always agree with it. There is a keyword and a beautiful description. And because many of the beings in this particular deck are um, or you may not be familiar with them, um, it's right there. It's easy to reference. And I have used all of her decks a lot. This is the blue-footed booby. People really like these decks. This is the Sun card, which she calls Lava Star, Luna Moth, and the Elk card. Oh, this is the Jackalope, another mythological being. Monarch, Narwhal. There's some really cool creatures in this deck. And there is also that one. That's a cool card. That's the Cyanobacteria card. Very cool card. Um, there's another example of just the piece, right? So you really can use your imagination. That's the Komodo dragon. And I'll show you the human being. That's the fairy card. Oh, and I just have to tell my story again about this one. I'll tell you my story about that one in a second. I'm just looking for the human. Mm. Love the human card. So this deck is called Fantastical or Fantastic. Fantastic Being. Fantastic Being. Yeah, it's just it's amazing. The creature on the left is called a tardigrade. And when I saw this card in this deck, the minis are a different card stock. Um, tardigrades live in moss. I don't know where else they live. But I was doing a teacher training, a yoga teacher training, and Joseph, fellow yogi teacher, um, was reminding us to be very mindful when we were having our lunch outdoors and that we were sitting on paving stones amidst moss to keep our bags and our hands and our lunches off the moss because we needed to protect the tardigrades. And I remember him telling us this, and I will never forget it. And it really took me into the magical world of, um, I don't know, the whole Horton Hears a Who kind of thing. It was very powerful. So, yes, so Rebecca, I think you really hit something special with this particular deck, and I hope, um, yeah, your work is fantastic. I did, Rebecca also has a journal, monthly publication, and it was my intention to contribute to it, but that's something I still haven't gotten to. Hmm. All right, last one for this video. I have the original Soul Trees, and this is Soul Trees Ascension. And I don't want to show more than one deck from the same creator in this video. Hello, Aisha. And this one, of course, is newer than Soul Tree. Use I use Soul Trees all the time. I find the colors absolutely amazing. Now, it is Soul Trees, the original one, is a little softer palette than this one. The cardstock is also different. Um, this one is like a tarot card, slightly glossy. This one is, I feel, a little more magical, much in the vein of earthly souls and spirits, kind of like that. This is a great pairing with lots of tarot decks. If you have enough white space on the tarot deck, this really gets into the spirit of the reading, the essence of the reading. Um, the trees have shapes, the colors have messages. Um, I really, really like these cards, and I don't feel that, I was gonna call her Allison Williams Yee, is that the right name? Yes. Sometimes I get her name mixed up with the creator of Soul Flower, but um, her work is really beautiful, and I actually used, uh, a picture on the thumbnail. I don't know if anybody noticed, of a deck that I don't have that I am, um, coveting, a marigold. I can't tell you what the name of the deck is, but, um, again, there's not too many decks that I am looking to purchase, but there's a few, and I feel that the keywords are really beautiful on this deck. Mhm. And I'm sure there's a video somewhere in my hundreds and hundreds of videos, comparing Soul Trees to Soul Trees Ascension. Soul Trees looks a little bit like this card here. So it is much whiter. There is more space on the card. You did. You did. Yes, Dee Dee. Red Seeds Oracle 1, 2, and 3. Um, mm, I didn't bring them out. I had too many decks to share today. Um, but as I thought that when I made the thumbnail, I thought that they might, but they didn't make the cut after consideration. Dana asks, "Do you have the Elizabeth or Earth Oracle decks?" I only have. Mm, I don't have that one. And the answer to this question is no, I do not. And the thing is, there are new decks coming out all the time, and I think it's really important to ask yourself if the new deck is going to um, fill a spot, an empty spot. You don't want to be purchasing decks where the energy is so redundant that it's not going to be used. Mm. All right. So that is a wrap. My, uh, let's go here. I'm just going to recap. So the top five indie oracles, and I know I didn't do this for the mass markets, in no particular order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in no particular order would be Oracle of Echoes, Connected and Free. I know the box has changed. Fantastic Being, Soul Trees, and Wisdom of the Sacred Bee. And know that that could change at any time. I do. I use Oracle a lot. Um, Always have at least 3 Oracle decks in my basket, and I really find that they are a beautiful way to open or to wind up a reading. So yeah, I exercise them a lot. All right. Obviously, I'm going to write down some of these titles you have shared today. So thank you for sharing these titles. It's wonderful. Um, I appreciate it. Yes. So any of you that have made recommendations, that I would greatly appreciate if you would follow up by making a comment later, and then it will be easy for me to find. It does take a while for the chat to process, sometimes up to 2 days. So in the meantime, I may forget to come back and look at it. I don't review all of my videos. All right. Have a lovely evening, everyone, and I will see some of you in the morning. I'm going to do top 10 indie tarot decks. Thanks so much. Namaste.